Hey guys, it's Micah from Sapulpa Times, and I've got another special episode for you here, sitting down with City Council candidate for Ward 5, right? This is
Correct.
Kent Glesener. And Kent, thanks for agreeing to sit down with me today.
Yep.
I really do appreciate that you took the time to do so, and looking forward to just talking with you a little bit and letting all your constituents learn more about your candidacy and while you're running and all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks for being here.
It's just a good opportunity to get the word out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. I'll just start kind of with the basics here. Let's talk about your history in Sapulpa. How long have you lived here?
Lived here 38 years, you know, with my wife and 47 years, and I got two older children that are both married and two grandchildren.
Okay, the good sized family then. Does everybody stay close by?
Yep, everybody's local.
Okay, that's good. I
Yeah,
always like that. And I know that you're a business owner also, and I think you've had that business for quite a while, haven't you?
yeah. I think we're going on our 28th year now, and
That's a little bit.
we're over there in the industrial park here in Sapulpa,
Which one?
the Otis Rule Industrial Park.
Oh, the Otis Rule one.
Yeah.
Okay, right, right. Have you been there since the beginning?
No, about halfway through.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. And so checking my notes here to make sure I got it. This is actually, it's not your first time to run for office, but I think this is your first time to run for city council, right?
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so what inspired you to do that in the first place?
Well, I guess everybody has a bucket list.
Is it the bucket list
Yeah,
item for you?
this is because I've always felt a calling, so to speak, to run for an office and serve, you know, whomever be the state or the country or the city or whatever in some capacity.
Okay,
So I feel like that since you have that sense in you that it's a calling, I believe that that's basically also maybe a spiritual unction, you know,
yeah,
to serve and since I'm you know I've been saved like 40 some years as a believer, a follower of Christ, and I feel like being a servant is not. A lot of people have a connotation that that's a low word, but actually it's a high word because it's just falling after Christ because that's what his life was. He came here for was to be a servant, and so that's the kind of perspective that I have, not only in my life as far as how we live our lives, but also as far as how the culture and the way we do business.
okay. So you're saying that this kind of servant mindset that you have it impacts and permeates like your whole life. It's not just you're not just saying that because you're sitting in the chair with me here today. This is how you run
Yeah,
business and everything else.
yeah. This is I guess it's just a matter. I mean, basically, that's what it means to be a follower. I mean, you can talk,
Yeah,
but obviously, we all know the colloquialism that talk is cheap. But I mean, it's not being better than anybody or perfect or anything. It's because obviously nobody is perfect.
right.
And so obviously when you stumble, you get up and repent or whatever and continue to pursue and go in the right direction.
Right. I like what you said there. I mean, the talk is cheap, but I mean, that's what makes it authentic is if you're walking the walk that you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the next question I had here was we talked about, and I did ask this pretty much of all the new
Hmm.
candidates, of which you are one. The Sapulpa has been through a lot of changes in the last few years. Some of the candidates come on board say they're not really in agreement with all the changes that have been made. But I'd really kind of like to get your take on how you feel about what Sapulpa has been through about the last 6 years, really. The start of the Geo bond, the 2020 Geo bond with the big one for us, and then the school bond and things like that. So just briefly and kind of casually, tell me what's on your mind about that stuff.
Well, I think from the time I've lived here, the better part of 40 years, it's pulp is it's been on an improvement mode from when I first came here. I have to agree with that. But maybe it's the methods that I am challenged about, because if we look at ourselves, not so much statewide but nationally, with our national debt, we also have to look at our not only our personal debt as well, but also our city's debt and all that kind of thing. And I think that there's needs to be, maybe we need to get involved in, are we headed in the right direction, and by continuing to accumulate debt.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of people, haven't been knocked a lot of doors here in the last couple of months, talking literally hundreds of people on their doorstep. Is, they all say the same thing without me telling them what my position is or whatever, that they're concerned about the increase with property taxes.
Right.
They're talking about the conditions of the roads. They're talking about the way downtown was handled. They're just basically, it's like they're universally upset.
Really.
And at least in my ward, which, those are the people that I'm called to represent. And so it's really goes way beyond my opinion, because I'm not here to execute on my opinion. I'm here to execute on the opinion of the people that are potentially going to vote me in office.
Okay.
And so, and there's a lot of people that, I mean, it's probably 8 or 10 people have told me, even in my ward, that, we're on a fixed income. And we're at the point where I know 2 people are talking about selling
Hmm.
because they can't afford to live here anymore because of the property tax and obviously the inflation in general in the last 6 years.
Yeah. Inflation's a bit.
And so they're
Yeah.
they're really challenged in being able to stay where they are, and they're just upset about some other things, and so I'm just here to reflect those views. I'm only going to be one in 10 voices on the city council, but
Right.
I'm here to be the voice for Ward 5, and what the people that my constituents are advocating.
Okay, so let me kind of expand on that question just a little bit based on what you said there. First of all, I do want to take a moment to thank you because out of all the other candidates, Kent Glesener, I will say this very publicly, is one of the only candidates who is not currently sitting in city council who actually attends the city council meetings. And I've seen you there several times, and I appreciate that you're making an effort to learn about how the city business runs. And I wish the rest of them did that, but Kent's been the only one that does it so far. But so you mentioned a second ago, we talked about the debt. Property taxes, I understand, but when they and inflation, I think, is carrying a lot of weight that not a lot of people could have foreseen back in 2019, certainly before COVID. As we started to talk about the geo bond, but so my understanding, if I have the math right on this, like the school bond, for example, that's kind of the big one. They were like, if you had a house that was $100,000, then it was going to raise your ad valorem taxes by like I think they said, what do they say, $12 a month or maybe even a year? And I'm just curious, like when you talk to your constituents, I mean, are they really being put out over like 10 or $12 a year or a month?
Well, I think it's more than that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to speak specifically about the numbers right now. I'm just reflecting what the citizens are
You're
telling me.
just saying what you've
Yeah.
been told. Okay. Are they upset about anything specific, or are they just in general upset about this?
Well, in general, because I would say if we did a poll,
Hmm.
I mean, if I actually had a clipboard and took down different questions and stuff, which I don't. I'm just saying that, and even some of the people that have volunteered to help me knock doors, pretty much the approval rating for the city governments and city council and just the city in general, as far as them being like a consumer out there in Ward 5. I mean, the approval rating is really low. And we talk about the U.S. Congress approval rating being low.
Hmm.
Well, it would be below that. And I'm
Oh,
just reflecting what the people are telling me. I mean, this is
okay.
all about the people. It's
So,
not about me. It's about the voice of the people.
so to clarify, you're telling me that in general, from what you've heard from your constituents, is their approval of our current city council is lower than even
But
Congress?
I'm saying the city, just the whole city governmental structure, because
Okay.
they haven't singled out. city council. They haven't singled out, any particular department.
Okay.
This is just an overall city government's statement that they've given me. I mean, I didn't ask them for specifics because you really, I mean, you can't spend an abundant amount of time at the door,
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
true.
people don't want you to ask probing questions. This is just general conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. You've only got so much time to spend on their
Mhm.
porch before you got to get to the next
So,
one. Um, okay, so about that, so let's say that if you were elected to the city council, what do you have in mind that you would bring about to maybe raise that approval rating?
well, I mean, as after talking to a lot of these people, there's a general just lack of knowledge
Okay.
uh, for who for whatever reason, and I just had formulated in my mind that really there's a number of people that want to be active if they were more informed, and so having accumulated a lot of contact information that people want to give me their contact information, emails or phone numbers or whatever, and other people that maybe have recruited that I really think that it would be productive to put out some kind of, whether it's an email or a newsletter or some kind of informative material to update people, because I understand that all this is available on the city's website and all that kind of stuff, but
Hmm.
it's just kind of like generally who goes there. I mean, as a for instance, when I ask people if they've ever looked at the city's financials, it's like deer in the headlights type of thing.
Right.
Because I've drilled into the city financials, and that's why, I'm used to in the business realm, whether I've been working for somebody else running different projects or the company or whatever like that, or for our own business, I'm used to looking at the financials, and obviously you have budgets and you monitor the cost,
Hmm. Hmm.
the accumulating costs and so forth, and then basically there's only two things you can really do when you look at financials, is you either increase revenue or reduce costs.
Okay.
Those are the only two options. And so maybe it might be productive to at least um, get more involved in the financials, let the people in the general public know about the financials, because I do get concerned about the debt, because when your debt is twice your revenue, and I think some of that revenue is in bond money, then there should be concerns that maybe we need to think about how we're spending some of our money, or just, I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there's always room to be more efficient or
Sure.
improve. And there's maybe areas in the city that need more attention,
Okay.
whatever, whether it's police, fire. I don't know. I mean, it's something that you really have to accumulate knowledge as you study the financials over time, and you look at trends, and then you obviously see what the needs are to spend funds productively. Because one thing we always have to remember, whether you're in business uh, owner or whether you're a public official, you have a fiduciary responsibility. Even like the city council, and whoever is going to be on the city council, we have a fiduciary responsibility of oversight over how the funds are being administrated and spent.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's not just vote yay or nay. There's maybe we just really need to drill in the financials a little bit more and study them, and they'd be perfectly fine. But I am personally, we have gotten debt free, us personally, in our business and our personal assets, just because, I mean, that's the scriptural model, is
Yeah.
to be the lender, not the borrower.
Hmm.
And when you're not spending money to pay interest, then basically those funds are being used for what I would call a productive purpose. Bankers may not agree with me on that, but it's it's a more productive purpose, And
Okay.
so, but I mean, it's not a simple thing. It's something that has to be done over time.
Yeah. And
And
it's a
all I can
complicated
say
thing.
is I'm one voice in 10. I'm here to be an advocate for Ward 5. And I'm here to basically turn the herd as far as the debt mentality. because I
So
just feel like that's not a model for success for anybody.
I do you have the information to be more specific about that? Because I'm trying to get a better understanding myself of like what the city's debt load would be. And I know so our revenue comes primarily through our taxes and and utility payments. This is actually me directly reciting what they said at the State of the City luncheon yesterday. And then so far in the last 2 years, they've gotten millions of dollars of grants. In 2026, they've already secured about $5 million in grants, and so that's some additional revenue that's coming. But so where's the city going into debt on things? Because I thought these things were just being paid for out of our budget. I mean, I know a geo bond is a different thing, but that's not a like we're not in danger of defaulting on that or anything.
No, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying
Okay.
there's a trend upward.
An upward trend
I
in
mean,
debt.
there's an outside CPA firm that's all they do is they study cities' financials across the state.
Right.
I think it's Crawford and CPAs and Associates. They put out a report that's actually on the city's financial website as well. And basically, I mean, just don't take my word for it, is that they um, rate the city's debt to equity ratio as less than satisfactory.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody who is basically that's what they do, their CPAs say that you're less than satisfactory, there might be some validity to that where we need to just check this out.
I see. Okay.
You
Well, I
know,
mean, there's nothing wrong with taking a harder look
yeah.
at it, and it's like you said, it's something that has to be done over time. Maybe we started in one direction and we, like you said, an upward trajectory. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Well, I'm just saying, isn't it productive just to take a second look,
Sure.
you know, and just get in because that's I mean, I'm a civil engineer and have been for a long time, and so besides being a business owner, where you look at the financials, basically your world is the numbers, you know,
Yeah.
and so you have you know, of course, now looking at the city's financials, it's like a 150 page report. Not only actually, it's more than that because they have a budget, and then they have what I would say is an audited financial statement. So the two of them combined is hundreds of pages. So
Yeah.
basically,
That's a lot.
uh, that's something that you have to study over time to basically make good business decisions on basically how you spend other people's money, because that's one of the I guess the maybe called a shortfall that in any kind of governmental structure is they forget whose money it is.
Right. Yeah.
And that, again, that fiduciary responsibility, as actually we've seen with all this stuff that's gone on in other states, not our state or not our city, but we've seen, where people forget, when they're sending out checks that they need to pay a little bit better attention to who they're sending them to.
Hmm.
I mean, that was the worst case scenario. I'm not talking about that for this, but I'm just saying that's an illustration.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, if nothing else, it serves as a good reminder to us to take another look at the financials, like you said, right?
Right. It's just always, I mean, I understand, obviously the senior manager and the people that are involved in the financials and the treasurer and stuff like that. I mean, they're doing their job. It's just a matter that, again, the city council is the only oversight that we have. And it's not a bad thing to have oversight, because it's always good to have a second opinion and a second set of eyes and say, well, have you thought about this, or can we do it this way? And so that kind of input is productive, even if it's from the cities. And it's like I want to make people aware too that the city has several public budget meetings to
Yep.
analyze the budget before the city council even votes on it. But my understanding is that, and I've been ignorant of this myself, is that nobody shows up.
That's true. There's not a
And
lot. I
so,
mean,
so
it's
basically, this is
boring stuff sometimes,
that
I think, for some
right. I
people.
know it's boring, but I mean, it's still something that there should be a minimal percentage of the public that would have interest in the direction and an understanding of it, and the availability to ask questions. I mean,
Well,
that's basically the beauty of our republic. We're not a democracy, we're a republic.
Right.
And so basically that's an opportunity to basically participate in the direction of, whether it's the city or the county or the state or the federal system. Is we have a real big opportunity here. And so that's kind of what I was in formulating, is talking to all these people at the doors and stuff like that. It hit me that really, when we're knocking these doors, they're not even aware. I'd say 90% of the people aren't even aware there's a city election. And so basically it's just that alone raises people's awareness to increase the participation level in governing the city.
Increased awareness means increased participation. Yeah, I'd say that I definitely agree with that. The going back to what you said about the budget meetings and stuff, I mean, I have to think that as maybe a lot of them have the same mindset, which I do currently, sort of, is that well, I elected my city councilor, or didn't if I didn't participate, but I have my city councilor and they go to those meetings for me, and I'm
Hmm.
trusting that they're gonna do right. And I guess if they don't, we find out about it, and
Hmm.
you know, thankfully there's another election in 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, whatever the term is for whoever it is. But okay, so I mentioned a second ago about the fact that you'd been going to city council meetings, and so I haven't had the chance to really ask this of anybody else, but I did want to ask you. So have you changed your opinions on anything about like the processes or anything like that since you started attending, and you kind of got to look behind the curtain, so to speak, on how the city business is run?
Well, I don't know that I haven't really got to look behind the curtain.
Well, I guess
I mean, all you
you
have,
got in the room
all,
anyway.
all you see is the stage, so to speak, and the performance relatively, I guess. I mean, it's a very refined process,
Yeah,
and I understand there's a lot of effort that goes into the presentation of all those, figures and the different issues that come before the council.
yeah. Were there
And
any kind of misconceptions you had or anything that got cleared up after you were able to sit in on any of those meetings, or was it all pretty much like you expected?
well, I understand that you need to keep the meetings going, but I was feel like that the citizen participation at some of the higher attended city council meetings is restricted as far as your response time. You got 3 minutes,
Yeah, they only give you 3 minutes.
and
Yeah.
I guess I'm not a fan of that,
Okay.
because I've seen other entities come and do presentations for 30 minutes to or more, and
At a city council meeting?
yeah.
I'm glad I don't live in that city. I'll just
Yeah. No,
I
I'm
get
I'm
that
saying this is
environment.
this is people that are advocating different, um, uh, I guess, whether it's a cell tower thing or whether it's,
Yeah.
the 2020-30 plan or whatever's out there. And so I just feel like I think that the 3 minutes is a guideline, but I I guess I'd like to hear from the people,
Yeah.
and if it takes all night, then so be it. I'm there for it. And
You're
that's
gonna
my that's my opinion.
I mean, you'll give somebody 30 minutes to
I didn't say that.
rant. Okay.
I use that as a comparison.
Yeah, that's true. It just
I mean, within
listen.
reason.
Well, you said I guess it's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's
No, I said here.
the 30-minute presentation thing.
Yeah.
That's not happening here.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
I was there.
Oh, the I thought you meant well, you said that it caps off at 3 minutes during the
Right.
public comments and stuff here. I
Right.
get maybe there's a difference though, in public comments versus actual presentation with an agenda item. I don't know.
Well, I guess there is a difference, but then I guess we're here to represent and hear the voice of the people.
That's true. Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And so I guess if somebody needs more of the time, I mean, if they request in advance, I need 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And I guess what's wrong with that?
Um, Personally, I don't know, but I know that the I mean, I don't want to say that like city code and charter in place and stuff for that, but I know that the 3 minute limit is it's a long standing, and I will say that the mayor has I've watched him, you know, play kind of loose with that if he felt like somebody needed to. So I guess it's it's a hard and fast rule, but there are exceptions, I suppose. And the cell tower thing that you mentioned was one of those. I mean, I think there was quite a bit of public
Right.
uh, participation in that one.
I'm just saying that, I mean, with any policy or mandate or whatever, I mean, it's always subject to interpretation and being and practicality and common sense.
Right. Okay.
And so that's what I'm just saying. I mean, I think that that should be in the mix.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying there. So, well, did you have anything else in particular that you wanted to talk about regarding your candidacy or the platform you're kind of standing on?
Well, as part of serving a city from a city council standpoint, is that I kind of feel like since I've been involved in the business and construction world and as a civil engineer for like 50 years. And so I think that can be, I'm not saying it is, but that perspective can be an asset on the city council as far as insight and that from that world or that experience to basically help the city council make decisions.
Right.
I'm not saying that they got to listen to me or anything, but I guess I can bring up a lot of things based on my real world business experience, and especially from an engineering, not only from a design standpoint, but from a construction standpoint.
Okay.
Because I just and I could have a lot of input. Let's just say like that in helping the city, continue the upward climb. I believe we're in an upward climb.
Okay. Um, you feel like that type of experience, I guess, would come in handy is, I mean, I, I don't know that we're at the tail end of a, we just finished some big building projects. We've got
Hmm.
another one happening up on the hill,
Hmm.
and we've got more coming with the fire training center and everything. I'm
Yeah.
assuming, are those the kinds of things that you were thinking you would be a good asset for?
Yeah, especially anything to do with building because I've been in it all my life. I mean, I started as a laborer before I was 15 years old, and so
Mhm.
I've done just about everything within the craftsman skilled worker world, from carpenter, concrete finishing, uh, even equipment operating for that matter, managing projects, being a project engineer, being a vice president, running a particular aspect of the company, and then obviously starting and managing our own business.
Okay.
And so, but I've also been involved, um, not as much, but I've also been involved in the design world as well, as far as in that particular community. I mean, I have relationships and connections within the design community, within the Tulsa metro area,
Okay.
where, I could call any of these engineers up any day of the week and say, well, what do you think about this? What's your design thought on that? Because really, when it comes to design, it's just all about the design thoughts that go into it. And then once the plans are approved and they actually become a contract for somebody to build it, then basically those are the documents by which you follow, and the question is all, what's the best interest of the project, what's the design intent here.
Hmm.
And so that's what you're charged with when you go out to build a project, is basically fulfilling what was the design thought and the design intent to bring that project to completion, so that it's basically totally functional for the general public and fits that use.
Right.
So, but anyway,
So you're
that's,
saying you'd be a good guy for being able to kind of
I mean,
to look at
I
that and
basically,
suss it out.
I feel like I could have productive input.
Okay.
Not that people have to listen to me, but they can at least know what my thoughts and suggestions are. Again, it's just a matter of another set of eyes, taking a second look, and I may be wrong. That's fine. If I'm wrong, that's fine. I just say, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Then I can just turn. But there may be some things that people just hadn't thought of before. That thought process in governing the overall city, that I feel like would be productive.
I see.
From this side of these eyes.
Yeah.
After 50 some years in this business, actually 60 if you count when I was a laborer.
I mean, everybody starts somewhere. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine that counts. That's hands-on
Yeah.
experience right there. So, okay, well, that's awesome. Thank you for just a really nice, insightful look at what you've got to offer for City Council. So, we'll remind everybody the City Council election for Wards 1, 3, and 5 is coming up on April the 7th. And
Mhm.
the polls will be open from 7 to 7. And if you're in one of those wards, be sure to go check out your sample ballot at the Creek County Online website. And I believe the state voter website will be able to get you the information you need for that. Thanks for tuning in to the special episode here. Thank you again, Kent, for being here. We
Well,
really
thank you for
appreciate
having
you
me. I
sitting down.
appreciate it.
Very happy to do so. And so, yeah, don't forget, this will be the last video that we do for this election. So go to sapulpatimes.com/elections to get all of the election coverage, see the interviews that we've had with the other candidates who came to sit down with me, and be sure to make an informed decision on April 7th. So that will do it for this episode, guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again on the next one, and have a great day, everybody.